you.
I know you do. What happened to us?
I used to say to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if all of this turned out to be true? I'm now thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful for people to know
They're coming.
all of this is true?
You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
We watch a thing. We watch a thing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Watched a Thing with Billy and Dave. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm curious and excited to talk about this one with you because this week, not only did we get to the brand new Spielberg blockbuster, first in ages, Disclosure Day, but then we're counting down our top 10 Spielberg films of all time. I'm very curious to hear what you thought of Disclosure Day. I messaged yesterday. You said that you had only heard like middling things at best, and your expectations were very low.
Very mixed reviews. Some very high, but a lot of kind of, a bit lackluster. He's a bit tired. He's lost his spark. A misfire.
Well, I'm curious to hear what you thought. Let's get straight into it. Disclosure Day is a 2026 sci-fi film directed by Steven Spielberg, stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo. And what is it about, Dave?
It is about the attempt to release a whole bunch of 79 years worth of classified information that about aliens landing and going shopping and doing whatever on Earth that a shady government agency in America is kept under wraps.
Adjacent. I think.
Well, they're hanging out with CIA and FBI.
Yeah, they explained that they were kind of started by the government, but they're not really anymore. Yeah,
they're above all of that. That's too what the work they do is too important to be shackled by paperwork and government stuff, but they've kept this stuff under wraps, and there's a kind of a splinter rebel group of ex-employees from this agency who are attempting to release it because they think the information's too important. And so you've got Josh O'Connor, who's a kind of computer whiz kid who had been in charge of, I think, cybersecurity at this agency, who is kind of absconded with 9 million kind of weird futuristic USB drives that have got all this information. Coleman Domingo, who's the head of the rebel group, and Emily Blunt, who's a Kansas City weather lady who gets sort of embroiled in this, and then Colin Firth's heading up the shady agency trying to track them down, and kind of excitement ensues. Yeah.
So let's get straight into it then. Your expectations weren't high because you'd heard middling things. Where did you land on it?
I heard middling things. I didn't really. This is sort of in the 24 hours leading up to seeing it, I started seeing middling reviews. I expected it to be solid because it's Spielberg. I wasn't particularly jazzed. The premise of the film I didn't seem particularly original or exciting. So I was going in expecting quality, but I wasn't kind of super excited, if that makes sense, yeah.
So critic and the public's digging it. It's got 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's had a $44 million domestic opening and 93 worldwide, which is Spielberg's best ever box office debut for an original film.
Really?
Yes. So, people are enjoying this film.
I'm both surprised that this is his... I'm very surprised that this is his best. But I'm also surprised that those numbers are his best when you look at his track record and filmography. Are you?
A little bit.
I would have thought he had done bigger numbers than that for an opening.
I don't know.
Surely like one of the latter Indiana Jones or something,
No,
Jurassic World or something.
Latter Indiana Jones. And he didn't direct Jurassic World.
Or what's there's one of the other Jurassics that he did two of them, at least. I don't know.
Look, I'm a big fan of this film. I dug the shit out of it. I don't know where you are on this film. This is, for me, one of Spielberg's best in years. The best and worst thing about this film is just that it feels so much like a Spielberg film. Like this, the worst thing about it is that there are times where it feels like a bot wrote a Spielberg film, because there are moments that are so kind of on the nose, that feeling and nostalgia that you get from a Spielberg film.
I kind of get, yeah.
But at the end of the day,
I would have gone, this is a Spielberg film. Spielberg is renowned for these themes and this sort of resolution, etc.
Exactly.
And
but
it's
at the
kind
end
of
of the
doing
day,
the cookie cutter.
because it is a Spielberg film, it totally works and it fucking rules. I love this movie. This is 8 out of 10 at least. If it's not in my top 10 list that we're doing, only for the same reason that I didn't have He-Man in my list last week, because recency bias, I'm leaving it out. But if I was doing this top 10 list genuinely, this film would be in here.
Oh, wow.
I really, really enjoy, and it's the first time I've liked Emily Blunt ever. I do not like her as an actress. I think she's hot
advertise
garbage.
how broken you are on the inside.
She's trash, but she's
Jesus
good
Christ.
in this movie. She really is fucking great in this
The way
movie.
she just rolls through multiple different languages, including the clicky alien language, and she is,
and
as
it's
always,
shot so well.
amazing.
This
This
is
is
the
one of her
first
best.
Spielberg film in years to look like a Spielberg film. Like this,
Really?
this took me right back to Spielberg films of the 80s and 90s. This really, I mean, apart from there's a lot of lens flares, which is very Abramsy, but the overall look and the shot composition, very Spielbergy. I really had a great time with this.
Wow. See, I'm not going to shit on it. I think it's solid. It kind of did what I went in expecting, which is that it's well made. The direction didn't wow me in this particularly, other than a few obvious scenes like the train scene, etc. That I think you really got that kind of partnership feel with he and what's his name, Janice, who's his cinematographer guy, Janice something or other. The two of them are kind of joined at the hip, and they get one another after so long, and you could really get a sense that there were some scenes like that, and like the big sort of flashback scene where Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor kind of jointly go back through childhood. Those are the two, I think, big moments in the film, and I think they were excellent. I think the performances were all excellent, but other than those scenes, the direction didn't wow me. This wasn't and we're obviously going to talk about probably all of them later in the episode, but this is not one where I went, yeah, this guy's a master of his craft. I thought the direction
100%.
was
Straight from
solid,
that,
but didn't wow me at all. And there were a lot of things like the lens flares where I just went, oh, really? You're better than this. I know you're better than this because I've been thinking about your entire filmography.
I couldn't disagree more. I'm keen to go see this movie again. I'm going to try get Noose to get to it this weekend, because I'm certain that she would absolutely love it as well. It's very
Did
classic
you
Spielberg.
like the ending?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
See, I think one of the things that kind of it didn't let me down, because the plot was exactly what I kind of thought it was going to be going in. There is not a lot of originality. This is not breaking the mold or anything. This is a kind of well-trodden path
I think that
for
this
sci-fi.
is a lot more. This is not an alien invasion film.
No,
this is a shady government film.
This feels like a long X-Files or Dark Skies.
Yeah,
this is like 90s TV story, which is I think why
I think you've been a bit harsh on it. There.
Maybe
it's
I
because I'm a
enjoyed
huge
the film.
X-Files
I
fan.
enjoyed the film. I don't this. It's unfair because I'm comparing it to what I think is an infinitely superior film. But Arrival, I think, broke new ground. It was a way of tackling.
So Arrival is a very different film.
Arrival is, I mean, it's like a kind of much better version of what's that shitty Jodie Foster thing you like? Contact?
Contact is great.
It's
Leave Contact
fine.
alone.
But Arrival,
Cocoon
I
is
think,
great.
is a masterful film. It is,
yeah.
Brilliant. And
But it's in a different league to this. Arrival's not. You can't compare Arrival
But this
to
is
this
Spielberg. He should be operating at the same level as
film.
Villeneuve, and I don't think this film does.
Spielberg has never been even remotely similar to Villeneuve is an art house director. But
you can't. When you're
Villeneuve
making,
can't make
Villeneuve
can't make a
Dune is not
blockbuster
an
like
art
this
house
film.
film.
But Dune is also not a blockbuster film. Dune does not have the same feeling that any Spielberg film has ever had. There are not general audiences rushing to Dune. Like, the people who like Dune like Dune, but it's not a crowd pleasing, everybody will love this film like Spielberg still has the talent to craft. Like, they're completely
but I think
different filmmakers.
that's possibly where I think I found this story uninspiring. It's a better version of like not War of the Worlds, the book, but the recent War of the Worlds. That's an attempt to kind of have this sort of thing with modern technology and modern things woven in. This is obviously far better film than that, but it kind of still felt. Most of the way through, or I was feeling like you could be doing more interesting things with this. This is just it's not bad. It's a solid thriller, but the ending, even though we knew what the ending was going to be, there wasn't a lot of surprise. We knew where it was going to end up, almost exactly, apart from wheeling out Grandpa Alien in the fucking wheelchair. But we kind of anyone who's seen a film knew where this was going to go and what the resolution was going to be. And it kind of irritated me because, firstly, the cliche of ending on, this is important, listen, roll credits. Don't tell us what she's going to do. I was like, oh, fuck off. This is you're better than that. That is shit writing. David Koepp is so much better than that ending. But that aside, which is a small niggle, but when it's the closing moments of the film, it stayed with me. But the idea that all these news agencies in this day and age are going to immediately believe that this is genuine without any sort of fact checking. One dude says, "Could this be AI?" And then it's never no one even responds to that comment. I'm like, oh, come on! Every single person in that room would dismiss this as AI the minute it came up and take it off the air.
I don't think that's true. Having worked in television, I don't think
I know
that's
it's
true.
America where half the people think the world is flat. But
no,
and they love aliens.
Even in Australia,
they all think aliens are real. But
the truth is that journalists are pretty shit people, and the goal of a journalist is to get
apologies
viewers.
to all Americans and journalists listening.
The goal of a journalist is look, there is a difference between a journalist and a news anchor.
All right, so no. Let me rephrase.
Anyway,
they wouldn't have
point
taken
is
it off
to
the
get
air.
viewers.
But I don't believe they would have been bursting into tears and going, I don't know how to respond to this.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree with everything.
It annoyed
you're
me.
saying. I disagree.
It annoyed me, and it annoyed me that it annoyed me because all five of the core cast were fantastic. They're all actors that I really like, and they were all doing really, really good work.
Yeah.
And by and large, like the direction and everything up to kind of the last act, I'd really enjoyed. The cat and mouse thriller, it wasn't breaking new ground. It was a kind of a pedestrian thriller sort of chase thing that we've had a million times, but it was done very, very well by people who know what they're doing, obviously. And I enjoyed all of that. I loved Eve Hewson's character, and I loved the way they sort of splintered her off, and she was doing her own thing, and then she came back in, and I'd forgotten she had the alien Duvalaki, and that was a nice moment where she handed it over. There were so many things that I liked about this, but whether there was recency bias or not, there's no way this was cracking my 10.
That's crazy. I'm an 8 out of 10, and like I said, if it weren't for the fact that I know there's
crazy, I'm a 7.
No. Well, how about we get straight
solid.
into it?
It's good. I probably will rewatch it because I enjoyed enough of it that it was a good time. I'm not with the critics that are saying, his career's on the slide, it's a misfire, he doesn't have it. I'm not by any means buying into that, but I can't remember the last Spielberg film. Admittedly, there's a few, as we'll discuss, that I haven't seen, but it's a while since he's blown my socks off.
Same. I mean, I'm going to quickly scan my
look,
list.
to tell the people what you
The
said to me
most-
before we started recording. That
I'm definitely
you
going to have
struggle-
some
you
in
don't
here that
even
are going
think
to
he's
give you
got
the
10 good
shits.
films.
The most recent film on my entire list is from 2002. So I have nothing from the last 23 years of Spielberg on my list of top 10. And look, I still like some of his more recent films. I just don't think that they are as good as his earlier efforts.
Yeah, I've got a 2011,
Okay.
but that is the most recent by a few years.
Well, how about we get into it? Because I expect we're going to have quite a bit of crossover.
Jeez,
I'm
you
going to
fucking think so.
I'm going to kick us off because I
Yep.
know this one's not going to have crossover, and I know that
so
you're probably
intrigued.
going to want to fight me on this one. Because look, is this a Spielberg film? I don't know. I think.
Have
it
you
is.
gone with? You haven't gone with Twilight.
I'm going with Poltergeist,
Oh,
1982,
it's not a fucking Spielberg film.
directed by Toby
Don't
Hooper.
you dare air quote that. That's bullshit. No.
Story
not-
and
not
written
accepting
by
it.
Spielberg at the very least. It was a kind of spin-off of an earlier film that was unproduced of his called Night Skies, and it turned into Poltergeist. He wrote it. He produced it.
We're not doing
There
the
is a
top 10
lot of
Spielberg written
controversy
films.
out there as to who actually directed it.
This is not like George P. Cosmatos on Tombstone. This is a Toby Hooper film. I genuinely believe that. I don't. Even Spielberg has come out and said
you know that Hooper sued the Directors Guild of America over this film?
for what?
Because this film was advertised as Steven Spielberg crossing a frightening new threshold. And so he sued the DGA and was awarded 15 grand on the grounds of the trailer denigrating the role of the director.
Fair.
But to this day, there is still... And I got to say, I love this movie. I'm a big fan of Toby Hooper. I'm a big fan of Spielberg. This is a very Spielberg-feeling movie. This feels much closer to a Spielberg film than anything else in Hooper's filmography. And you can't deny that.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't have had a close consultation. Obviously, with Spielberg producing, they would have had conversations. But even Spielberg has come out, I'm sure I've read, and said, no, I've heard the scuttlebutt. Toby did this. This is
I'm
Toby's
counting
film.
it. I feel good about having it on my list. So there it is.
I haven't done it for a while, but I'm putting this one up for the vote because
So
I need the community to back me on
that's
this.
the only
That's
reason
bullshit.
this is number 10. If it weren't for that, it'd be even higher. But, yep. Over to you for your number 10.
All right. I'm sure this isn't going to be a crossover because I don't think this would have been the big nostalgia thing for you that it was for me. But my number 10 is the most recent in my list, and it is The Adventures of Tintin.
Yeah, not on my list. So this is your 2011?
Yeah. So directed by Spielberg, produced by Peter Jackson, written by Edgar Wright. There's so many of the people I love involved with this. You've got the likes of Nick Frost, Jamie Bell, who's excellent, Andy Serkis, Daniel Craig, Simon Pegg, all doing voice work. And I mean, along with Asterix, Tintin and Asterix were my childhood. I had them from as young as I can remember, all the way through when I got to high school. The master of the lower school, and that tells you what a wanky school I went to, that we had a master of the lower school. But in his office, he had Asterix and Tintin comics for students to read while they were waiting to see him or whatever, but they were all in Latin. He had special ones that were all in Latin, and you could sit and read them. And not that I did a huge amount of that, but I was in trouble a little bit, so I got to see a fair amount of those. But I have loved it. Asterix and Tintin are both have such a... And when this was announced and the people that were attached to it were announced, I was like, holy shit, is this actually happening? That Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg, at the time, the two biggest names in cinema, were collaborating to do a cutting-edge 3D animated version of one of my childhood favorite comics that no one in the world at that point was even aware of because it was so obscure.
Tintin was not obscure. Tintin was
it's
huge.
not
I
like
knew
Mario
Tintin.
or something. You know, American
Tintin was
audiences.
big.
America never
Maybe.
really got Tintin.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why this movie absolutely bombed from memory. From memory, nobody saw this movie.
It tanked. I think critically it got quite a good rap for across the board. I don't think anyone was really criticizing it, but yeah, it didn't do. And I think it's exactly that. It's the fact that the audience for this is a nostalgia audience because it's not like Tintin. I don't even know if it was still in print then. Certainly its heyday was 30, 40 years earlier. But the audience is France, England, Australia. You know, I don't know that it was ever a thing in America. So I think that's what killed it. But I think it's a stunning looking film. The voice acting's great. It's a cracking adventure. And if you grew up with the Tintin comics, man, this hit. I loved it.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, my number 9 is one that I swear at the time it came out, everybody loved this film. And people seem to have turned on it more lately, and I don't know why. Topher and I, several years ago, when we were doing a movie draft over on, what were they called at the time? The Movie Journey podcast. We lost the vote on the back of this movie. And I will never understand why, because the movie is Hook. And I think that Hook is a good time at the cinemas. You disagree from the look on your face.
It's well made. I have never understood who the audience for this film is because the plot of this is aimed at adults who have kids of their own.
Yeah,
but
it works across the board. I've watched it with my kids.
The tone of the movie and the actual plot and the food fights and all of that, that's aimed at kids. But I don't think the kids... I don't understand how kids would resonate with the story of this old dude as our hero. And I don't understand, from myself, how adults... don't kind of grind their teeth at the juvenile nature of it. I've never loved this film.
Still love it as an adult. I
a lot of people do. I'm 100% in the minority. People genuinely have a love for this film that I've never understood. I love Hoffman and Hoskins. That's my love for this film, is the two of them. I think they are both incredible.
Oh, man, Robin Williams is so good in this film. Julia
He's
Roberts.
Always good, but I don't particularly like the character. And I think I never really gelled with just the idea of this kind of grown-up Peter Pan who's forgotten who he is. That never kind of hit a note for me. But as I say, I'm in the minority. Most people would probably put this in their top 10. So
yeah. All right. Well, your number 9.
My number 9 is a sci-fi, as quite a lot of Spielberg films are, and this is Minority Report.
Okay, not in my list. So
there are it's this low because I have some issues with the plot. There's some illogical stuff. There's some stuff that doesn't quite work, but the performances are so strong. I think that it's a stunning looking film. I love it's a type of sci-fi that I love. I love the whole premise of it, and I mean Farrell is great. TC is great. Max von Sydow, who I adore. I really, really like it.
Nice. Well, my number 8 is probably a crossover. I'm certain it's going to be a crossover. And I'm certain that even when you do put this up for the vote, I will lose 100%, not because of Poltergeist, but because of how low I have this movie. And it is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Jesus H. Christ.
Is a very good movie. I don't have the nostalgia for it a lot of people do, because I didn't grow up with this film. Brendan Fraser's The Mummy was my version of this film. That was my adventure film. I came to this very late. I only saw this it was within the life of the podcast because Topher made me watch it. Must have been maybe 6 years ago that I saw this for the first time.
I remember that you saw it shockingly late.
And it's a very good film. It's a very good film, and I'm certain it's going to be higher on your list. So why don't we just leave it for when you have it on yours? And why don't you give us your number 8?
My number 8 is a film that Spielberg inherited. that probably gives it away for you. But it was a property that one of my all-time favorite directors had options for decades and hadn't made because technology couldn't do what he thought needed to be done. And in the end, it got to a point where he actually handed it to his friend Steven Spielberg because he thought that the plot was more in line with his sensibilities than with Kubrick's, and that is AI. Artificial intelligence.
No!
Good. Yeah, I knew you'd have it. It's the reason it's, well, partly the reason it's this low is that I haven't seen it in quite a long time. I know that I love it. I don't remember it super well because it's probably been 10 years at least since I've watched this. But I remember loving it. I love Jude Law. Haley Joel Osment, I think, is one of the greatest child actors of all time. And what he did with this, like he learnt to not blink so that he could be robotic, which at 11 years old is fucking mental. I think it's one of these quintessential. This, I think, really encapsulates the kind of Spielberg film, the way he injects into otherwise what are often kind of cold or unemotional genres like sci-fi and war and things like that, and he always finds a way to inject humanity and kind of bigger themes, which I'm sure is why Kubrick went, "Nah, this is more for you, mate. This is not 2001. This is in your wheelhouse." And I think
this movie is staggeringly good, and I still to this day cry every time I watch this movie, and it's so emotional. The acting is great. Not just Haley Joel Osment, but Jude Law.
Jude Law is fantastic. He's an underrated actor. He is always fantastic.
I love this movie so much. So much higher on my list.
To be honest, it would probably be higher if I had watched it more recently and remembered some of the moments better, because I remember overall feelings and bits and pieces, but it needs a rewatch. Frances O'Connor as well. I don't know why she never got to the kind of Radha Mitchell, sort of other Aussie actresses of her era who went on and did a lot of shit in the States. Rose Byrne, Frances O'Connor was always one that I really liked and didn't seem to do as much, which I never understood.
All right. Well, my number 7 is Spielberg's first theatrical release. It is The Sugarland Express.
Damn.
Really love this
film.
film.
As a teenager, I don't remember shit about it. So tell me why it's one of his 10 best.
I saw it for the first time only not that long ago when I was doing a Spielberg binge on Binge Movies with Jason. And this was one of those movies. And I'd never heard of this movie. But watching this movie, you can see why Spielberg became who he did. This is such an incredibly well-made movie for a theatrical debut. Yeah. It's fun. It's thrilling. It gives you everything you want from a Spielberg film before Spielberg was even Spielberg.
So what's it even about? I know I watched it as a teenager. I have no recollection of it at all. In my mind, the earliest Spielberg film I can remember is Duel. I don't even remember.
It's real kind of Bonnie and Clyde. So my memory is it's based on a true story. Goldie Hawn breaks her husband out of prison, and they are basically on the run. I forget what that's right. It's to save their kid from foster parents in Sugarland, Texas. And so it follows them on the run as they're being chased by the cops. It's
kind of
really
like a road movie / chase movie.
Yeah, definitely. Goldie Hawn is really, really, really good.
Who's the guy?
William Atherton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting to see him and not want to slap him, because generally speaking, you don't like that dude in stuff.
If it's been a while since you've seen this, you not necessarily like him in this either.
I know I've seen this. I remember nothing about it.
Yeah.
I know I watched it, but I watched it at like 15 or something because it was Spielberg, and I thought, what's his first thing?
Yeah, first theatrical movie, and it is his first collaboration with John Williams as well, who we forgot to mention in Disclosure Day, but another fantastic score from Williams. But yeah, you should definitely put it on your rewatch list.
I will now. Yeah, I'm so surprised this is in your 10.
Yeah. So over to you for your number 7.
Damn. 7 is one of the most fun watches on my list, I guess, and probably one of the ones that I've seen the most often, other than probably my top 4 or 5, and it's Catch Me If You Can.
Okay, this was in my list. In fact, it was very, very close until I remembered AI counts, because in my head at first that was not a Spielberg film.
It's more of a Spielberg film than fucking Poltergeist, I'll tell you that right.
It's not. So I bumped Catch Me If You Can to put AI on my list instead.
Yep.
So very, very close. Good, good fun
It's
film.
a good film. Leo, great. Hank's great. Amy Adams and Chris Walken in there as well.
Yeah.
Fascinating that it's a true story, but in my mind, it's just a fun kind of heisty, capery film made by someone who is very, very capable at making films. It's just a really good example of that.
Yeah.
And
You know who
you
could
root
never
for this
make
guy.
this film? Villeneuve.
Huh?
I said, you know who could never make this film? Villeneuve. Villeneuve couldn't make this if he tried.
He'd put Chalamet in there.
Yeah, nice call. All right,
over to you.
Well, my number 6, I'm sure, is going to be a crossover as well. It's Schindler's List.
No!
Yep. Probably the most dramatic Spielberg to make my list. Everything else really very much falls in that really what you think of when you think of a Spielberg
spoilers,
film.
so
That
you
fun
don't have the colour
adventure
purple?
thriller. I don't have the color purple in my list. That's a hard watch, and Schindler's List
Whoopi
is a
says,
hard watch
"What?"
as well. But I mean, obviously, just a fantastic movie, and I'm sure it's going to be much higher in your list.
It is his career.
The fact that he made this and another film which is going to appear in both of our lists the exact same year, and that they were like, he has
to make the other one in order for them to greenlight this one, because no one thought this one would do anything.
It's crazy. So there you go. That is my number 6, and we're over to you.
Yep. Probably the most nostalgic pick on my list. This film came out in 1982.
Poltergeist.
No, this is a Spielberg film. While Tobe Hooper was making Poltergeist, Steven Spielberg was very busy making E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which
Also
took up
on my list,
all of
a
his
little
time.
higher.
I was 10 when this came out, or 9 even, and it was all anyone was talking about. Everyone was coming in saying, I went to the movies and I cried my eyes out. I went to the movies and cried my eyes out. The special effects in creating this character, 44 years ago, and having, fuck Yoda. There is so much life and personality in this rubber figure, which. And I can't remember if for some of this there was a little person inside it or if it was completely puppetry, but it's a rubber figure one way or the other. And the design and the voice act, everything about the creation of E.T. is incredible.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why it's also on my list slightly higher.
Nice.
In fact, I'm sure that we're at the section of the list where from here on out it's going to be crossover city.
You would think so.
I don't know if you'll have this next one on your list or not, but number 5 is also a sci-fi. I think that it is probably one of Spielberg's best sci-fis. It's certainly his most personal, and that is, of course, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Do I have this? I don't think I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I struggled with this a lot because a lot of these films I haven't seen in a long time. For many years, I said that Close Encounters was one of the greatest science fiction films of all time, and
which it is. That's an excellent call.
While I'm not I need to rewatch some of these. Thinking back, and I went back and watched trailers for things and scenes and things like that, and because I haven't seen it in a long time,
Yeah.
it felt
That's fair. It
a
feels
little cheesy
disingenuous
to me.
put. Yeah.
but that's not necessarily a judgment. If I'd watched it recently, it's quite possible it'd be very high in my list because I did always hold it in very high esteem as one of his best films and one of the best science fiction films. I love how original and unique it is, and obviously the whole music scene at the end is iconic. You know, it's really, really fantastically done, and I love. I love Dreyfus. So
Yeah. All right. Over to you for your number 4.
my number 4 is the 7th best war film of all time, and that is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, actually, sorry. Did we skip your 5?
Sorry, my 5 is
5.
Yeah, my 5 is the 7th best war film of all time, Saving Private Ryan.
Not on my list. Yeah.
Oh, good. So I'll get less hate than you from.
I'm on board with Wayne over here.
Look, I probably would back Wayne. I don't think it's anywhere near the best war film. It's probably about 7, if I'm being totally honest. But it is a fantastic film. The opening sequence alone, which is like 20, 30 minutes or something, is some of the best filmmaking, certainly in a war film, but some of the best filmmaking ever. It's really fantastic stuff. The plot annoys me a little. The idea that you've got umpteen people all risking their lives and getting killed to save one dude just because his 2 brothers had been killed or whatever. How many fucking families lost all their kids in the war? Probably thousands.
Yeah.
The idea that you do all this for one dude seems stupid. However, it's a fantastic cast. It kind of was a springboard for so many actors that are kind of you assume were already famous. Like Damon did this before Good Will Hunting came out. You got Barry Pepper, you got Vin Diesel, you've got all these people kind of before they did anything, which is fascinating. And it's just a really solid war film.
Yeah, nice.
It's not his best war film, obviously.
Nice. Well, my number 4 is E.T., so we're straight back to you for your number 4.
Oh, okay. Get ready with your low. Number 4 is where I have Jurassic Park.
That is ridiculously low. That's just the dumbest thing you've ever said. That is literally just stupidity, Dave.
I know it's your fucking favorite movie of all. Look,
Second favorite. Favorite. The
top
Princess
4
Bride is still my top spot, but
top 4 Spielberg films is still pretty prestigious, and I did struggle a little with the order on these. It's near perfect. Mm-hmm. I will always remember my reaction when you first see the horde of a Brontosaurus or a Patasaurus or whatever they were. Was pretty much the same as Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Glasses drop.
100%.
Oh my God. It's up in my top 5 moments in a theatre ever in my life is the first time you see dinosaurs in that film. And it has child performances that are, well, they are irritating, but they're meant to be irritating. They're good child performances. It's got everything. It's so from
much
here
fun.
on, we're talking.
The adventure,
These are all
the
perfect
action.
films.
You forget how many great horror elements there are in Jurassic Park. The Velociraptor scene where they're in the kitchen is just incredible horror filmmaking.
Fantastic! That is like just Alien.
Yeah, it's insane. Such a good movie.
And stuff like the glass of water with the vibration, the vibrations. There's so many moments in this.
Next level. Yeah.
And my favorite line one of my favorite lines probably in a film ever, which is
Women inherit the earth?
No.
No?
That's fine. Sorry, sisters. But no. It's I think it's the daughter says, I don't have a problem with cars or something, or trees. And the little boy says, well, you weren't in the last one.
You weren't in the last one. Yeah.
So good.
Nice. All right. Well, number 3 is where I have AI. So again, we're straight back to you for your number 3.
I need to rewatch that. That's super high. Number 3 is where I have Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the appropriate place to place it because it is
a little bit high.
No offense. The greatest adventure movie of all time. Apologies to both Brendan Fraser and John Carter, but this is the number 1.
Okay.
And to like before I saw this, because this came out as the year before, so I would have been 9. I was already a massive fan of Alan Quatermain, who's obviously the inspiration for Indiana Jones. But I don't think the Richard Chamberlain stuff came out until later in the 80s. I think this kind of predated those. But I'd already read those books. So to me, the name was changed, but this was the sort of adventure stuff that I was reading at that age. So it really hit hard.
Yeah, nice. Well, number 2 is where I have Jaws, which I'm hoping is on your list. Wow, that's crazy, because Jaws is one of the greatest films of all time, and it holds up so incredibly well.
It's good. They're all good films that we're talking about.
Rewatched it just recently over at Topher's in 4K, and it is amazing how well this movie holds up today. Like, it is so gripping.
pretty good.
It is so tense. The characterization, that's what makes this film work, is that the love that is put into the writing and the acting and the directing of these characters, of Dreyfus and Shaw and Schneider, like the interactions between them, it is just such a fantastic fucking film. So that is my number 2, Jaws, and over to you for your number 2.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's good. It's certainly, I mean, it's a good film, certainly, and gave us the word blockbuster. So, my number 2 is that's where I have Schindler's List, which I think is it is his best film. It's not my favorite, but it is
There's
an
definitely
absolute
an argument to be made
masterpiece.
for that. Yeah.
It's an important film. I mean, this is a film that I think should be shown in schools. It is such an important film. The fact that he kind of sat on it for decades because he didn't think he was a mature enough filmmaker to do it justice. I think, I respect him for that. The fact, he had producers on the film who were in concentration camps.
Yeah.
I mean, the choice to film in black and white, the choice to have color where he had color,
Just where it's...
the performances by one of my favorite actors of all time, Ben Kingsley. Even Ralph Fiennes. I mean, fuck, how anyone liked him in a film after this is beyond me, because he is fucking evil personified.
He is Voldemort.
Yeah, well, exactly. Probably got that off the back of this. I think this is absolutely the pinnacle of his artistic prowess for his entire career, and he will never top this. Most filmmakers will never top this film.
Fair. I mean, I disagree, because at number 1 is where I very correctly have Jurassic Park, which is the best film that Spielberg has ever made.
Velociraptors are the new Nazis.
So what's your number 1 then? Have we had it
already?
already?
Jaws. What the fuck else would my number 1 be?
Good. I'm very glad that Jaws is actually on your list. And you were being
I have
facetious.
rewatched this more times than I can count. I also own the 4K because Topher and I have
Did you happen to
embraced
go to
the new
cinema
technology.
last year when it was showing for the 50th anniversary?
No, I think I didn't know about it until after it was too late, or there was some reason. Otherwise, 100% I would have been. But yes, I also embrace modern technology, so I have the 4K, which is incredible. This is just a perfect film. For him to have made this at the age that he made it, with the challenges, which are all fucking legend by now. We all know about Bruce the Shark and all of the things he had to struggle with. And how much of the final product is happenstance and accident because of all of that? Who cares?
Yeah.
It is cinematic perfection. There is a reason that it started the concept of the blockbuster, because this was a film that everyone had to see, and it is still just the best of its kind. There are so many imitators over the years. Even on other Benchley things, you've got things like The Deep with Nick Nolte, and every shark film that's ever been made is compared to this and falls short. So,
Nice.
Best thing he's ever done.
Awesome. All right. Well, this was good. Next week, I don't know what we're going to get to. I'm assuming, are you going to take the kids to Toy Story 5, do you reckon?
Nope.
You're not going to?
I should do, because that would be 5 more tickets to help me on the draft, but I'm not spending that sort of money on a franchise that, while I respect, I have no great affinity for.
Yeah,
the first
wow.
Toy Story is great. There are no bad Toy Stories, but I don't have the love for this franchise that Paul does, for example. I don't think it's anywhere near the best that Pixar's done, and it's kind of been diminishing returns on it. So I'm not expecting the fifth film to be incredible.
Yeah.
But everyone out there should go and see it because I need fucking help in the movie draft.
Nice. All right. Well, I don't know what we're going to get to next week.
We'll
Then. If
come
you're
up
not
with
seeing
something.
Toy Story 5, we'll find something. We'll do a countdown or something. And in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. If you're on them YouTubes, hit the like and subscribe and all those buttons that Dave knows about down there. And if you're listening with your ear holes, then just tell 10 friends and tell them to tell 10 friends. And if they
We've still
tell
got
10
steak
friends,
knives to give out.
and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.